There is no political solution to socialism. There is no political solution to socialism, fascism, any kind of statism. As long as people believe that their problem is hunger, lack of self-gratification, inequality, social inequality, as long as the people believe that the best mechanism to save them from that which they need to be saved is the state, is government, is the rich and powerful, and we see what a cult of the rich and powerful we have in the West, there is no political solution. Now, perhaps some of you are watching and thinking, oh, Joffrey is going down some weird little two kingdoms trail. Not so. A problem that is encountered by many in the one kingdom camp, by many theonomists, reconstructionists, postmillennialists, optimists, eschatological optimists, is, and by the way, I would label myself with all of those things. The problem is precipitation. And by that, I don't mean rain, but rather being precipitate. Moving too quickly or getting your priorities wrong. I am not saying that Christians should not be political. I am certainly not saying that the Christian church, Christianity, the Christian gospel are not political, because they are. Okay? What I am saying is that as long as the people believe that they have not sin, but rather some sort of social oppression or some sort of statist societal inequality, and that's their problem, statism will continue to exist. Socialism will continue to exist. Fascism will continue to exist. And perhaps you think that this video is sort of inspired by things that are going on in the United States, and they're not really. Actually, what has me thinking about these things is the stuff going on in Brazil and in Peru right now, and the depressing apparent unassailability of socialist thinking in Latin America. We, of course, see that up here as well. Now, what I am suggesting to you, the viewer, is that as Christians, our focus should be on the proclamation of the gospel, the growth and maturation of the church, the bringing of the people into the fold of God, and helping the desires, the political desires of the people, to have a biblical alignment. When I said that one kingdomers, theonomists, or constructionists have that precipitate problem, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about perhaps jumping the gun on political solutions. Now, what I'm not saying is that Christians should not get involved in politics. Okay. Christians should dedicate themselves to the true, the good, and the beautiful. And individually, we're going to do that in many ways. Okay? Trying to be a senator or a city councilor, being a lobbyist for one group or another. These are true, good, and beautiful things. Okay? The internecine conflict that kind of popped off maybe 4 or 5 years ago in the anti-abortion movement between abolitionists and, let's call them, gradualists, is an example of a lack of understanding that all Christians should be fighting evil all the time. Okay? And let each brother in his conscience stand or fall before his own master. So some will choose to work for the complete abolition of abortion. Some will try to save 1, 2, or 200 babies. And that's good work too, right? And that is opened up for us when we approach truth, beauty, and goodness, the idea, okay, well, what is righteous? What is acceptable before God? What smells and tastes delicious as a living sacrifice? We think about beauty. Okay? And it is beautiful to save one baby, and it is beautiful to save all the babies. But we also have to realize that the fight against evil will progress, but never end. Okay, so after one enemy is defeated, the next is tackled. Now, I'm not talking about futility here. So, as the people become the people of God, then effective Christian politics are possible, and socialism can die. So, right now in the West, when Christians are politicking, they need to realize that they're doing the saving one baby thing. And Christian leaders need to realize that's what's happening too, and strategize with that in mind. A city cannot be taken over for the gospel through its city council, as just as you as a Christian might be able to make the laws. A country will not be taken for the gospel through its Congress, through its Senate. The people must want it. We must be Jonahs to the Nineveh. And then we have to think, what is more fundamental in social life than politics? And I would say church, then family, then state, when we talk about what shapes a people. And as the church is faithful, the first tasks that the church must take on are those which support the Christian family. So that, for example, education, the raising of children, the nurture and admonition of the Lord, and that includes algebra, okay? Education needs to be an extremely high priority. Any fighting that we are doing to fend off socialism or corporate overreach or wokeness in state schools or on TV is a side battle. Is it good fighting? Yes, it keeps people off of our flanks. But if we start to think that the cavalry skirmish in which real people are fighting and dying, okay, it is everything to the people in it. But if we start to think as a church, as Christians, that cavalry skirmish is the main battle, we won't take our objectives. Right? And what is our objective? Our objective are nations kneeling before Christ. So I suppose I don't really have a concrete call to action, except to urge Christians who are watching this to consider whether their focus and their weight and their effort is in the right place. If too many of us are focusing on those skirmishes, then we're not going to be able to resource the ruck, as rugby coaches would say. We won't have enough guys to get the job done where it really matters. So there it is. Have more babies, raise them, buy more books, write more poetry, roast more coffee, build more houses, all the things. And then your grandchildren can consider a Senate run. There it is. Not hating on anybody. That's just my bit. Peace of Christ be upon you.
What day is it today? Remind me.
It's Sunday, Mr. Pension.
Sunday. And what do we do on a Sunday morning, wherever we happen to be? We go to church, you bloody heathen!